Meet of the year for Central Michigan and Ball State as they conclude their Mid-American Conference season. Thanks for joining us on ESPN3 inside McGurk Arena. Adam Jacksa and former CMU gymnast Jordan Charette. And we come in, this is a very important meet for both teams, specifically though for Central Michigan. If they win tonight, they lock up a regular season championship outright.
Absolutely, and that is a goal that Central Michigan has had all season, is to have that, not only that regular season, of course, the tournament championship as well, but it starts with a regular season win, and they're looking to win that outright tonight with a win against Ball State, hopefully.
And for Ball State, they come in, they don't have the same implications for them, but still an opportunity to gain momentum heading into the MAC championships the next week, and great for them. They get an opportunity to compete in the same spot that the MAC championships will be held next Saturday right here in McGurk Arena. There is the fifth-year head coach for Ball State, Joanna Salim, as she hopes to come in here and continue to build off her success. She said that the Cardinals are as consistent as they ever have been in her tenure as the Cardinals head coach. There's Jerry Reigard, a staple here in Mount Pleasant, 34 seasons, 7 MAC regular season championships already. It'll be 8 tonight, regardless of what happens, but he told us he doesn't want to share with any of the other MAC teams. I know you're surprised to hear that.
No.
He wants to win it outright.
Absolutely. Sharing isn't something we typically like to do when it comes to a championship or a MAC win.
Central Michigan coming in ranked top 30 in the country. They're 7-7 on the year and 4-1 in the MAC. Northern Illinois is second in the conference, a record of 3-2. They'll compete against Bowling Green on Saturday to close out the regular season. As for Ball State, 9-8 and 3-3 in the Mid-American Conference under Joanna Salim. Just about ready to get started as the touch warm-ups are complete. Central Michigan will start on the vaults. And here is Nora Fettinger.
Nora's going to do a Yurchenko layout full, brand new vault for her this season. Much improved from the beginning of the season. I love to see the growth in her gymnastics.
So Fettinger, the freshman from Hemlock, Michigan. Here's Vicky Garcia for Ball State up on the bars.
Just finishing up her bar routine with a stuck dismount. Very nice start.
So each team getting off to good starts, which is always important. Final meet of the season, so you want this to be your best, obviously. MAC championships just over a week away. They'll be next Saturday right here in McGurk Arena. Gina Plaxa recently has become an all-arounder for Coach Reigard, and she is expected to do that again tonight. She'll get going on vault here in just a moment.
Gianna has stepped up in big ways. She's very much relied on in this Central Michigan lineup, so very dependent on her in every lineup, so we're looking to see big things today.
As for Ball State, Arden Hudson getting set to compete on the bars, a freshman for the Cardinals.
Here goes Gianna. Her vault is going to be a little different. She's going to do a front handspring onto the board, front handspring onto the vault, and a front tuck off. Nice landing, just a small step forward.
So good effort from the junior from Mountaintop, Pennsylvania. Coach Reigard has said she just continues to hit in every event, and he has been forced to put her in the all-around low spots. Here's the freshman we mentioned, Arden Hudson, getting ready to go. Second competitor on the bars for Ball State.
Arden's going to start with a toe shoot to handstand right into, oh, looks like she was a little off. She's supposed to go into a release move called a shapash, where she transfers from the low bar to the high bar. She's going to try again. So she's going to put her feet on the bar, try that toe shoot again. Unfortunately, looking like she's having some difficulties there with that release move.
We'll see if she potentially tries it again. A little bit different than most gymnasts. She's got good height on her, as you can see, 5'10".
She's an incredibly tall gymnast. Unfortunately, the problem right now is that she cannot repeat that first skill again. She's already done it twice. So if she were to do it a third time, it would be a major deduction on top of the 2 falls that she already has. So it looks like they just put her up on the high bar, and she's going to finish the routine as is. Ball State is definitely hoping to drop this routine.
And she was expected to exhibition here on bars, but an injury to Jackie Duffy in warm-ups is keeping the senior out. So Arden got put in the lineup, and unfortunately she struggled a little bit. Finishes strong though, and will be greeted by her teammates. We'll see if the Cardinals can pick up her score throughout the rest of the rotation. There's the head coach for Ball State, Joanna Salim, and here's one of the seniors on this Chippewa team on senior night. They'll be honored after the meet. Katie Clements ready to go.
Katie's vault is also going to be a Yurchenko layout full. Huge amplitude in this vault. Very nice body shape in the air. Looked like she was just a little skewed in that landing there, but she was able to control it.
Coach Rygard never worried when she goes up to compete. He says he always knows what to expect, and says Katie is she's a great competitor.
Yep, she's a very sturdy competitor, very level-headed when she's out on the competition floor. So she's definitely somebody that you can rely on to keep her cool when you need her to hit.
One of the reasons she's been named a captain this year. Katie also earned a scholarship midway through the season, and definitely earned it. Maddie McDonald getting ready to compete for the Cardinals. McDonald, a sophomore from Pennsylvania.
She's going to mount over the low bar, right up to the high bar, kip past a handstand, right into a blind half. A little bit of form break on that Jaeger, right into a bail. And up to the high bar for her dismount. It's going to be a double layout. Very nice stretched body position. Pretty significant step on the landing, but that was the momentum that they needed after that last routine that they had.
Good response by Maddie McDonald. As for Central Michigan, the senior Brittany Kaplan just moments ago on the vault.
Yurchenko layout full for Brittany as well. Very nice vault for the senior.
Sydney Williams next up for Central Michigan. The fifth competitor set to go on the vaults. The opening rotation for the Chippewas and the Cardinals on the final meet of the regular season.
Sydney's a very explosive athlete, so we're going to look for that pop off the vault table and see how high she gets in the air. Huge vault, unfortunately lands just a little bit short. Wasn't able to pull off the landing there, but that is why you put up 6 and you count 5, so they will not have to count that score.
So some pressure on Danelle Pedrick coming up here for the Chippewas to try and pick up that score. Over to the bars.
Very nice piked Jaeger right into a bail. Feet stay glued together. That's exactly what we're looking for. Giant full, right into a double back. And they're looking for those landings. They might give that to her, but it looked like a little bit of a hop to me.
That was his senior Jillian Hacker out of Indiana, staying home and competing at Ball State. Final vault. And a big score potentially for CMU. Danelle Pedrick trying to pick up her teammate, Sydney Williams.
As we've mentioned before, Danelle has a very big vault, starts from a 10.0, and we're looking for a big score here to make up for Sydney. Here she goes, Yurchenko double full. Oh, just a full today. She decided to play it safe. But it was worth it because she pulled out a great landing.
So Danelle Pedrick, a big meet for her. Coach Rygard and the Chippewas rely on her score, and Coach said this is a confidence meet for Danelle Pedrick. And she looked good in that first run down the vaults. Now Jordan Penny for Ball State.
Here goes the senior on bars. Very nice handstand, blind half into a piked Jaeger. Very nice release moves. Great form in the air. Here she goes up for her dismount. Nice hit handstand, giant full right on top of the bar, right into a double back. Very nice, solid hit bar routine for the senior.
Exactly what you expect from a senior. Cardinals, it may not be their senior night, but their last regular season meet before the MAC championships next Saturday. Coach Rygaard looking to win the 8th regular season championship and wants to do it without having to share. He already has earned a share. Jordan, there have been just 16 regular season championships. They were started awarding them in 2003 in the MAC, and Central Michigan has won 8. Pretty darn impressive, all under head coach Jerry Rygaard.
Absolutely.
They'll compete for a MAC championships award next weekend as well. Again, all coming down to the end of the season. The championships will be right here in Mount Pleasant.
Here's Caitlin Menzioni. On the other end of the spectrum of Arden being an incredibly tall gymnast, Caitlin, who's just 4'8". It's very tiny. Here she goes up to the high bar, kip cast, toe shoot to handstand, into a ginger, little bit of form break. She manages to pull it off. And she goes up to the high bar for her dismount, kip to handstand. Dismount's gonna be a double layout. Pretty far on that double layout, but just a small step backwards.
So that'll get us through the first rotation, and the scores on the vaults. Again, Central Michigan will drop Sydney Williams, who wasn't able to complete that dismount, but Danelle Pedrick picking her up a 9-9 to lead the way for Central Michigan. And we talked about it with Danelle, a big meet for her, trying to regain that confidence and such an important part of this Chippewa team. And she gets off to a great start after the vault. As for Ball State, still waiting on Caitlin Menzioni's scores. But again, same with the Cardinals, looking to drop that score from Arden Hudson. And we'll have one more exhibition from Claire Collins before we complete this first rotation.
Claire's gonna mount over the low bar, a little bit of form break in that mount. Giant full, into a ginger. Unfortunately, she just could not hang on to the bar there. Going to regain her composure and continue with her bar routine. She goes up to the high bar for her dismount. Giant full, into a double back. Nice landing. Overall, great rotation for Ball State on bars.
So Ball State compiling a 48.9 under head coach Joanna Salim after one stop here out of the 4. Vault coming up next for the Cardinals. For Central Michigan, a 49 flat. Rounded out by a 9.9 by Pedrick. Penny, the highest scorer for the Cardinals, with a 9.850. So one rotation in the books. And ready to come back for the second set. Chippewas will be on the bars and the Cardinals over on the vaults. Stay with us on through one rotation in Mount Pleasant. Central Michigan and Ball State competing in the final regular season meeting of the year before the MAC championships next week. Chippewas just a little bit better after one round, of 49 flat over on the vault and a 48-9 for Ball State. Let's take a look at the individual scores first for the Cardinals. There they are at Jordan Penny with the highest at 9.85, and we saw same thing on both sides with the Cardinals and the Chippewas, each having a fall, but the teammates around the fall able to pick up the scores.
Yes, both teams responded well to just a slip up in one of their lineup positions, and that is why you put 6 up and you only have to count 5, so your teammates have your back there.
And for Central Michigan, their highest score coming from their sophomore, Danelle Pedrick, closing out the rotation, a 9-9. Hers coming after Sydney Williams, who didn't have the score that she wanted, but overall solid rotation for both teams after one. Now the two teams switching sides. Central Michigan over to the bars. Ball State to the vault. And Jordan, a very important meet, the final one of the season, an opportunity for teams to improve their overall score heading into the MAC championships this upcoming weekend.
Yes, this weekend is the last weekend for all of the teams to improve their national ranking. And national ranking is how you move on to postseason. So no matter where the Chippewas finish at MAC championships, if they are ranked in the top 36 nationally, they will move on to postseason. So this is the last weekend to improve that average in hopes of staying within the top 36 to move on.
Chippewas right now sitting at 34. Cardinals trying to improve as well. Again, if you're just joining us, Central Michigan with a win tonight would wrap up a regular season championship in the MAC. They've already clinched a share, but the Chippewas hoping to win it outright with a victory at the end of the night. And what a way to cap it off if they could get it on senior night. 5 seniors that'll be honored for Central Michigan after the meet. Courtney Campbell, Katie Clements, Macy Hilliker, Brittany Kaplan, and Miranda Wazorik, all competing for one final time in front of most of the home fans. They'll get another opportunity again as the MAC championships are next week, but that's the other good thing is these two teams can get kind of an idea of being in this gym. You know, the Chippewas are used to being in this gym, obviously, but for Ball State, an opportunity to get used to McGurk Arena. They'll be seeing it again next week, which will likely be a huge advantage for them.
Absolutely. This is definitely a big advantage for them to be here, let alone so late in the season and so close to MAC championships, to have that feeling and fresh in their minds to know what the arena's like, what the layout's going to be like. So big advantage, and that I know that they're hoping to take full advantage of. And
for Coach Rygaard, he said that if we can do things the right way and in rhythm, then we know that we've got our rhythm and routine for next week. We just needed to do the same as what we did this past week. So it can benefit both teams as, again, the regular season finale tonight, MAC championships coming up next Saturday, the all-important MAC championships for all the Mid-American Conference teams. And those will be Saturday at 2 o'clock, a week from this Saturday. Second rotation getting ready to start. Ball State on the vaults, and they're led by the freshman Arden Hudson to get going. Didn't have the performance she wanted on the bar, so trying to bounce back here.
Arden does a different vault, a front handspring with a double twist off. Not something I don't think I've ever seen in the NCAA, so that makes this vault lineup very unique.
Danelle Pedrick leads off the lineup on the bars for CMU.
A solid hit routine for Danelle, exactly the way that the Chippewas want to start off this bar rotation.
So Pedrick 2 for 2 out of the 4 rotations she will compete in tonight for the Chippewas. This is Sydney Finke, the junior from Indianapolis. One of the captains on this Ball State team. Coach Salim relies on Finke, saying she's one of our most consistent vaulters that we have. So big expectations for the junior captain. Kennedy Ray Johnson in her first season in Mount Pleasant, getting sent to compete on the bars.
Here goes Sydney on vault. Just going to do your Yurchenko layout half. Very nice controlled landing on that vault. Starts from a 9.95 start value, as does the Yurchenko layout full, which you saw many of the Chippewas perform tonight.
See the big smile on Finke's face, happy with that performance. Here's the freshman for CMU.
Here goes Kennedy on bars. She has already completed most of her routine. Gonna go for her dismount, which is a full in, and she sticks the landing, as always.
2 stuck landings for Central Michigan. And you say, as always, how impressive as a freshman in her first year, and she's started to become so consistent in the lineup already in her young career.
That is something that Kennedy is known for in the gym, is nailing those landings when it counts, which is incredibly important.
Certainly a little bit easier to do in practice, but much more difficult to do it out in a competition setting. And as a freshman, she has really stepped up in her first year. This is Claire Collins for Ball State. Another senior for the Cardinals.
She's going to, oh, unfortunately, it looks like she had a mishap in her round-off entry onto the table. Looks like she is going to walk away from this. Okay, hopefully she is uninjured. They're going to take a look at her.
Tough to see. Continue over on bars with Kaylee Miller.
Kaylee's going to do a Yurchenko, or I'm sorry, a blind half into a straddle Jaeger. Kip to cast a handstand into a bail to handstand. And here she goes for her dismount. A little shy on that handstand. She's going to do a full in just like Kennedy did. Very nice routine for the Chippewas.
3 great routines for Central Michigan. Kaylee Miller, the last. For Ball State, Jordan Penny, another senior for the Cardinals. Expecting to compete in 3 events this evening. Just saw her over on bars. She had the best score, a 9.85, and now ready to vault.
Jordan hoping to pick up the momentum here for Ball State after Claire with her unfortunate fall in the last spot.
Cardinals were able to do that over on the uneven bars. Trying to do it again on the vault. Haley Porter will go on the bars for Central Michigan.
Haley's going to do a giant full into a very large Ginger. Great form on that release move, huge amplitude. Right into a bail to handstand. And she goes up for her dismount. Haley is also going to do a full in, hoping for the 4th stick. Just a step back on the landing, but a very nice routine.
Coach Rygaard pleased the team greeting Haley Porter, sophomore from Bellevue, Nebraska. Now back to Ball State. As we mentioned, Jordan Penny.
Vault is one of Jordan's strong suits. As you can see, a very big Yurchenko full. She gets great amplitude and distance from the vault table, which is what you look for in a strong vault.
Scores up so far for Central Michigan. They're led by Kennedy Ray Johnson, a 9.825. Miller with a 9.8, and Pedrick a 9.775. For Ball State, Hudson, the freshman, leading the way with a 9.825. Finke a 9.8. Here goes Gianna Plaxa.
Gianna's going to go blind half into a straddle Jaeger. Very nicely done. Kip cast a handstand right into a bail to handstand. Looking for these handstands to happen directly on top of the bar, as Gianna's doing very well so far. Double front dismount. Stuck the landing. Very, very nice. These sticks are contagious tonight. That's exactly what we want to see.
Chippewas have been on a mission on the bars. Gianna Plaxa helped lead the Chippewas with a 9.9 last weekend at the tri-meet at Ohio State. Her and Kaplan In the meantime, Maddie McDonald moments ago for Ball State on the vault.
Maddie's vault was a Yurchenko layout half, just a little bit low on that landing, had to take a step back, which is going to be a significant deduction, but stayed on her feet, which is what they're looking for.
So the final out of the 6 for Ball State in the lineup, Bree Slonim, the sophomore from Wisconsin.
It was Brittany Kaplan, the senior, former MAC champion on the bars, hoping to regain that title next weekend. Brittany is an incredibly strong competitor on the uneven bars, having competed in just about every lineup since her freshman year. Here she goes for her dismount. Is going to be a full-in double layout, new for the senior this season.
So Kaplan finishes off the good scores for Central Michigan. Bree Slonim just moments ago for Ball State.
She does a Yurchenko layout full. Very nicely done.
So right now, without Kaplan's score, Central Michigan sitting at a 49.075. And without Slonim's score, Ball State just above a 47, but hoping to up that by disregarding Penny's score as she had a miss on the vault. A couple exhibitions coming up for each side. Chippewas with Courtney Campbell and the Cardinals, Rachel Benoit. Here goes Benoit.
Very nicely done for senior Courtney Campbell, just completing her Ginger release move right into a bail. Pip cast on the high bar, going for her dismount. It's going to be a giant full into a double back. Very nicely done for the senior.
So that wraps up the second rotation. Kaplan finishing off with a 9.875. So Gianna Plaxa leading the way with a 9.9 for Central Michigan. Collins, the best score for Ball State, the 9.850. Ball State with a 49 flat on the vault, and Central Michigan a 49.175. So the Chippewas able to win the first 2 events here on the final night of the regular season. Chippewas trying to win an outright MAC championship, and just going back to the bars, Central Michigan looked locked in, Jordan.
Absolutely, they had a very strong rotation, and like I said earlier, the sticks were contagious, and that is what separates good teams from great teams, and they're hoping to be great tonight.
So the total scores right now after 2, Central Michigan a 98.175, Ball State a 97.9. 2 rotations in the books, 2 more to go on the final night of the regular season. Central Michigan to the floor next, and Ball State to the balance beam. Central Michigan and Ball State battling through the midway point of this evening's meet, and there was Ball State's vault score. Slonim with a 9.825, Hudson a 9.825, but the leader, Claire Collins, check that, Slonim and Hudson, the leaders. Claire Collins, the score that the Cardinals dropped, but still put together a 49 flat on the vault for Central Michigan. So a lot of stuck routines for the Chippewas. Gianna Plaxa, recently added to the all-around lineup for the Chippewas, standing out with a 9.9.
The Chippewas had a very impressive bar rotation, and they are hoping to build off of that momentum on the balance beam, an area that is typically a strong suit for the Chippewas, so we're looking to see big things tonight.
Chippewas second in the MAC this season, averaging just above 48.5, which is 40th in the country. And the Cardinals, pretty solid on the balance beam as well. Right behind Central Michigan, 41st in the country and 3rd in the MAC, also averaging just above a 48.5. They will be over on the floor, though, for the 3rd rotation. Our final meet of the regular season. Central Michigan trying to wrap up a MAC regular season championship outright. Be their first since the 2015 season. Cardinal coaches looking on as they're hoping for a big score. Chippewas have been just a little bit better on the first 2 rotations. The Cardinals trying to get back into this. They've continued to improve, though, under Joanna Salim, her 5th year at Ball State. And the Cardinals continuing to get better and better. This is Skylar Memmel, and what an opportunity for Skylar, Jordan. It's her first home meet of the season. She's been battling an injury, started competing on the road. The Chippewas were on a long road trip, and her first opportunity to compete in front of the home fans.
Yes, Skylar had a pretty major reconstructive shoulder surgery over the summer. So this is really her first opportunity to compete in McGurk her junior year. Proving solid so far with a back handspring layout. Skylar is known for her performances on balance beam and floor. Tonight we will only see her in the balance beam, as she is still working on her endurance and her skills back into that floor lineup. Just the dismount left. It's going to be a round off, double full. Step backwards, but a solid lead off routine for the Chippewas.
So Skylar Memmel, the junior from Wisconsin, getting an opportunity to compete at home.
Very nice first pass, front handspring, front layout right into a Rudy.
It's the captain, Bailey Bell, for Ball State. Bell competing on the floor for the first time in her career this season. She's been a balance beam performer throughout, but getting the opportunity to compete on the floor this year, and also earned a scholarship this season, a former walk-on for the Cardinals. So great to see the senior go out, and also a captain this year as well.
Just the last pass left. So far, Bailey has had a strong leadoff routine for the Cardinals. Last pass going to be a 1.5 to a front layout half. Here is junior Gianna Plaxa up on the balance beam. Switch leap into a split 3/4. Small balance check there, but she is able to keep her composure. And she goes up for her series is going to be a back handspring layout. Another small balance check, but she does wonderful at just keeping tall and keeping her head over the beam.
At a 9.725 in her last outing at the Ohio State Tri-Meet last week.
Feet jump into a Sassone. Just the dismount left for Gianna. It's going to be a gainer pike off the end. Sticks the dismount. Very nicely fought routine for Gianna. She had a couple of instances where she could have lost her cool and came off the beam, but she stayed calm and stayed down and pulled off a solid routine for the Chippewas.
So 2 down for Central Michigan. Over to the floor once again. Claudia Goyko, freshman from Buford, Georgia.
Here goes Claudia for her first pass. It's going to be a round off into a double back. Very difficult. She skips the back handspring. Switch side into a popa, fulfilling that dance element. Here she goes for her second pass. It's going to be a round off 1.5 to a front layout. Unfortunately, steps out of bounds there. It's going to be a 1/10 deduction. And here goes her last pass. It's going to be a round off double pike. Unfortunately, another step out of bounds. It's going to be another 10th off of her score. But nicely done.
So did step out a couple times, but solid performance
And
from
here
the freshman.
is sophomore Haley Porter on the balance beam. Series is going to be a back handspring layout. Very nicely done. Haley's very aggressive on the balance beam. Very nice leaps for Haley.
Coach Reigard calls her a difference maker. He says when she performs exceptional, the team performs exceptional. So they have high expectations for the sophomore.
Here comes her acro element. It's going to be a side aerial. Very nice save. She had a small balance check there, but she pulls down to her finish. Full turn. Just the dismount left. It's going to be a gainer pike off the end, just like Gianna. Sticks the dismount. Very nicely done.
So Haley Porter with a good routine for Central Michigan. No scores up yet. Chippewas came in with a 98.175. Ball State a 97.9 after 2 turns here in Mount Pleasant.
First pass for the Cardinals is a front double full to a punch front. Very difficult tumbling pass. And here goes her second pass. It's going to be a front handspring, Rudy layout, very strong front tumbler.
This is Sydney Finke, junior from Indianapolis.
And here she goes for her last pass. As we get a look at Danelle on the beam, a little bit of both here. Danelle looking to finish up a solid routine so far for the Chippewas. Just the dismount left for her is going to be a round off double full. Nicely done. Oh, awesome landing.
Great day continuing for the sophomore, Danelle Pedrick.
Chippewas are happy to see those sticks carry over to the balance beam tonight.
some sunglasses out here.
I think that's something that they are passing around to the girls after they have a solid hit routine. Seen several teams do that this season, whether it be a belt or a necklace or a stick crown.
Whatever you can do to have fun and keep the mood light. Certainly so much pressure going on.
Here comes senior Miranda Wazorek. She is coming off of a career high over at Ohio State with a 9.9 on the balance beam. Very solid performer on the balance beam. She's often relied upon and just a very stable competitor up there on the beam.
Always seems to be very well composed for the Chippewas.
First up is a full turn from Miranda. Right into her series is going to be a back handspring, layout, step out. Very nicely done, strong finish, looking very aggressive tonight. Beat jump into a straddle 3/4. Miranda unfortunately had to sit out her sophomore and her junior year due to ACL injuries both years. You can see that knee is pretty taped up there. But she has had an absolutely amazing senior season.
Impressive enough to battle back from one, but to have two in back-to-back years.
Gainer pike off the end. Just a small hop backwards, but a very solid routine and business as usual for Miranda.
Senior continues to thrive in her last year at Central Michigan on senior night as well for the 5 Chippewas. Suiting up for the last time. This is Tia Kiako. And the freshman finishing up. Claire Collins has been removed from the lineup. You remember she had a tough go on the vault. Came up a little bit limp, so it looks like she's been taken out of the lineup. So they're skipping her in this rotation and moved up Finke and Kiako.
She's got those sunglasses on. She had a nice routine for the Cardinals.
Deserves them, absolutely. 9.8 was Finke just moments ago. Bell also a 9.8, the 2 high scores for the Cardinals. Here's the senior captain, Katie Clements.
Katie looking to finish off a great beam rotation for the Chippewas. Series is going to be a back handspring layout. Very nicely done for the senior. Katie is always so aggressive up there on beam. Very confident athlete, very sure of herself when she is up there on the balance beam.
Her lowest score on the beam this year came in the opener, and it was a 9.875. She has consistently been a 9.9 or better throughout.
With the exception of last weekend, unfortunately, she had a little bit of a mishap on the balance beam. She actually came off, but her only time this season, and she looks like she is recovering very well from that.
Absolutely.
Just the dismount left. Gainer layout full. Sticks the landing. Awesome beam rotation for the Chippewas. That is exactly what they want to see out of their senior.
On senior night, the captain coming through for the Chippewas, and as Jordan said, definitely wanted to bounce back after a struggle last week. And Katie Clements getting it, no doubt, and continuing what has been a very good rotation for Central Michigan on the balance beam. This is Caitlin Menzioni, the 4'8" junior. Just returned to the lineup last week against Western Michigan. She had been competing in the all-around, but had a strained calf and not competing in the all-around again tonight. Just to be cautious heading into the championships next week, but nice go around there on floor. Meantime, the scores are up for Central Michigan, a 9.925 for Katie Clements best score for CMU, and they're above a 49.
Here is sophomore Mackenzie Parker. Incredibly talented athlete that unfortunately had to sit out the season last season due to a shoulder injury, but it's good to see her in these lineups this year. Goes up for her series. Is going to be a back handspring, layout, step out. Just a small wobble there, but she is able to pull it back. A little bit too much power there on that full turn. Front aerial, right into a split jump. Just the dismount left for Mackenzie. Round off 1.5, just a small hop forward. Very nice way to cap off a great beam rotation for the Chippewas.
So the Chippewas complete with the balance beam, and one more competitor for the Cardinals. So Rachel Benoit was expected to be an exhibition, but slotted into the rotation because of the injury to Claire Collins.
Very powerful first half, double pike, pretty big hop out of the landing, just didn't know how to quite control that power. Switch side into a popa. And here she goes for her second pass. It's going to be a front handspring, front layout, front full. Unfortunately, was not able to stay on her feet there. Cardinals have had 5 strong routines prior to Rachel, so they will not have to count this score, which is a good thing. She goes for her final pass. It's going to be a round off back handspring, double tuck. Nice controlled landing.
So that's the end of the third rotation as we'll wait for the score from Rachel Benoit, the sophomore from Arlington, Massachusetts. Central Michigan finishing with a 49.025. Katie Clements leading the way. No surprise, the senior captain, one of the top beam workers in the country, top 15, and a 9.925. And again, here's the solid rotation from Central Michigan. It started on the beam, or it started on the bars, and they carried it over towards the beam.
And you
continue to look strong. Yep.
Stick after stick. Just a couple of the girls had small steps on their landings, but that has really been the game changer for them tonight, is their landings.
And again, that theme started over on the bars. And for Ball State, again, had an injury, but got off to a good start. Bailey Bell. And it looks like the score for the Cardinals is going to be a 48.75. So the team scores. Central Michigan a 147.2. Ball State a 146.65. One more rotation left in the regular season finale. Central Michigan trying to close out an out. One more to go between Central Michigan and Ball State. As you see the total scores all the way to the right. The Chippewas in front after 3 rotations, 147.2. Ball State with a 146.6. Cardinals on the balance beam. Chippewas over on the floor. On senior night in Mount Pleasant, Central Michigan trying to secure an outright MAC championship. They can do so with a victory. Coming into tonight with a 4-1 conference record. Cardinals 3-3 and hoping to improve their team score heading into the MAC championships. MAC championships are next Saturday at 2 o'clock, and they'll be right here in Mount Pleasant. Chippewas getting the opportunity to host, which certainly will help their cause as they will compete Olympic style. Ball State getting the opportunity to get a feel for the gym just about 9 days out of the MAC championships. Again, there they are, March 24th. That's next Saturday, 2 o'clock start. You can find your tickets at cmuchippewas.com as all the Mid-American Conference teams will be in action here in Mount Pleasant. That's the biggest one of the year.
Absolutely, and it's something that all of these girls have been looking forward to since their time on this team started, knowing that they will be on the team when Central gets to host a MAC championships. And it's only once every 7 years that you get to be at home and competing at MAC championships, so this is an amazing opportunity, especially for the seniors to go out in their final season competing in the home arena at one of the biggest meets of the year.
Yeah, so it's senior night this evening, but these Chippewas will get one more opportunity next Saturday to compete at home as well, which, as Jordan mentioned, definitely going to give them an advantage. Chippewas already very difficult to try and take down at the MAC championships as they've been the best team all season long. The beam scores, we mentioned Katie Clements with the best for Central Michigan, 9.925, but the Chippewas were sticking their routines left and right as they had another good score, over 49 in all three scores tonight, as they start on the floor with Nora Fettinger.
Because Nora's first pass is going to be a 2.5 twist. Nora has competed in the leadoff spot in every meet since the beginning of this season. Very consistent competitor for the Chippewas on floor. One and a half to a punch front pike.
Had a good score on Sunday, a 9.8 at Ohio State.
Just the final pass left for Nora. There's going to be a Rudy. Very much improved landing on that pass for Nora. She's been working hard on that in the gym, and it has certainly paid off for her.
So the freshman from Hemlock completing her routine on floor.
Here's Bree Slonim on her dismount. Round off double full, just a small hop backwards. Very nice start for the Cardinals.
Slonim, the sophomore for Ball State. Menzioni, Vicky Garcia, Bailey Bell, Jordan Penny, and Tia Kiaku will finish the final five for the Cardinals. For Central Michigan, they'll go with Mackenzie Parker, Brittany Kaplan, Gianna Plaxa, Danelle Pedrick, and Katie Clements. The six in the lineup, and the five to finish for Central Michigan as the Chippewas try and close this one out. Here is Mackenzie Parker.
Very nicely done. Stuck double pike for the sophomore. Mackenzie is very well known for her power on floor. Very strong competitor in at the junior Olympic level. Like I said, unfortunately, an injury took her out of last season, so this is really, she's just starting to come into her own here in this season. And we're able to get a first look at her this season for the Chippewas.
And she's been tasked with filling in for Macy Hilliker, a senior that went down earlier this year. And Coach Reingard with high expectations for the sophomore.
Very big shoes to fill for Macy. Very, very impressive competitor. Sad to lose her this season, but she has remained very much a staple in this team and a great leader.
Hilliker, the MAC floor champion last year, but that's what happens. One goes down and coaches expect the next to step in, and Mackenzie Parker the next to do that for the Chippewas.
Round off 1.5 dismount for Caitlin.
Fettinger on the floor for Central Michigan, a 9.775. Slonim a 9.725 for Ball State. And another senior competing for Central Michigan, Brittany Kaplan.
Brittany has made her way into this floor lineup late in the season after having a pretty extensive knee surgery over the summer that took her a little bit longer to recover than anticipated. But Brittany just has this uncanny ability to pick up right where she left off, and she doesn't need a whole lot of practice to get back out there on the competition floor. So she didn't need a whole lot of practice out here on the floor to get her endurance back and get back into this lineup. And it's great to see her in at the end of season, especially on her senior night here in McGurk.
Best scores at 9.8 this season. As Jordan said, she entered later in the season on the floor, starting just past the month of February. Now competing for the 6th time on floor this year.
Very nice double pike for the senior. So you can see her teammate and fellow classmate Courtney Campbell dancing with her in the corner there.
A clone behind her.
Round off whip, 1.5 to a punch front. She stays in bounds. You can see her eye that yellow tape. Switch side into a popa. Brittany is somebody who loves the competition of this sport. You can just see her really shine when she steps into the meet. She goes for her last pass. It's going to be a double tuck. She small hop on the landing, but overall, a very solid routine for Brittany.
So a good finish for the senior Brittany Kaplan.
Next up on the knee for Ball State, Vicky Bell, and on the floor for Central Michigan, Gianna.
This was Vicky Garcia on the balance beam finishing up.
Just a very small shuffle on that dismount. They might give her the stick, depending on the view that the judges had of that landing.
Couple at 9.725 for the Cardinals to begin their beam rotation from Menziona and Slonim.
Mackenzie Parker hitting a career high of 9.825 on the floor, and that's exactly what we want to see, stepping into that spot where she's needed.
Another difference maker on this Central Michigan team as they continue to try and compete at their highest level heading into the MAC championships next week. Chippewas on their way to earning a victory, trying to close it out to secure a MAC regular season championship outright. It would be the 8th time under head coach Jerry Reigard.
Here is senior Bailey Bell, back handspring layout step out. This is an event that Bailey is known to be incredibly strong on. Several regional appearances as an individual competitor. Nice side summy. Feet jump into a split full. We're really looking for those jumps to get all the way around there. That's exactly what she did. Just the dismount left for Bailey. It's going to be a round off, 1.5. Oh, she went for that stick, but unfortunately had to take a small step backwards. Overall, very clean routine for the senior.
High fives all around for Bailey Bell.
Gianna finishing up so far a strong routine on the floor. Just the last pass left for the junior. It's going to be a front handspring, Rudy. Very nicely done. she is able to carry that momentum that they've had all day.
Next up on the beam for Ball State, Jordan Penny.
The all-arounder today for Central Michigan, Gianna Plaxa, closing out her night on a high note. She's had another good meet for Central Michigan. And she goes back-to-back. As now we'll see the other all-arounder coming up next, Danelle Pedrick for Central Michigan. This is Jordan Penny for Ball State. Her third routine today for the Cardinals. Also competed on vault and bars.
Here goes her series as a back handspring layup, step out. Very strong.
Makes it look easy.
Just the dismount left for the senior. It's going to be a round off 1.5. Very nicely done for the Cardinals.
Now the sophomore for Central Michigan, Danelle Pedrick.
Triple twist, huge tumbling pass for the sophomore. She almost lost her balance there a little bit, and those leaps had too much power, but she's able to pull it back. She goes for her second pass, is going to be a round off 1.5, punch front layout. Just the last pass left for Danelle. It's going to be a double pike. Here she goes. Just a step forward, which is going to be a deduction, but overall, very nice routine for Danelle.
And a really nice night for Danelle Pedrick as she finishes strong as the sophomore, having a great meet for the Chippewas.
Responding very well to a tough weekend last weekend for her, so it's great to see going into MAC championships next week.
Exactly what Coach Rygaard wanted from his sophomore, her to continue to find that confidence and build it towards next weekend. She's certainly done that tonight. Tia Kiaku following a 9.725 from Penny. Bailey Bell leading the way for Ball State on the beam with a 9.8. Jordan mentioned earlier, a career high for Mackenzie Parker, the best scorer so far on the floor for the Chippewas with a 9.825.
Just the dismount left. It's going to be a front full. She tries to move out of that landing. Unfortunately, I think they'll take a deduction for the step backwards there.
Finally, the senior, Katie Clements.
Just a little bit too much power on that double back.
You can see her holding on there.
2 steps out of that, but fortunately she was able to stay in bounds, minimizing the deduction on that tumbling pass.
That's what the tiptoes are for.
Exactly. Here goes her second pass. It's going to be a front full to a front layout. Right into a stag jump. They added that in mid-season to eliminate any kind of shuffling she had at the end of that tumbling pass there. Katie, a very powerful gymnast, as we've seen all night, and she's got the floor music to back it up. Just the final pass left for Katie, which is going to be a double pike. Very nicely done for the senior.
And that'll finish out a great night for Central Michigan. as they really took control, seemed to start their momentum. Did well on vault, but they started to stick their landings and compete really well after the vault. Once they got over to the uneven bars, kept that momentum rolling on the balance beam and continued it onto the floor. And we'll have a couple exhibitions before this one is complete. Rachel Benoit, the sophomore, first for Ball State. And it looks like the Chippewas have picked up a 196. Katie Clements with a 9.875. Best score on the floor for CMU. Exhibition here from Courtney Campbell.
This is the second event that we've seen Courtney in tonight. First pass is going to be a Rudy right into a split jump. Leap is a switch ring into a swing wall full. And here goes her second pass. Round off 1.5 into a front tuck. Just the last pass left for the senior. And she saves her hardest pass for last. It's going to be a 2.5 twist. Very nicely done for the senior.
So a great way to finish the night. Final exhibition. Rachel Benoit, the sophomore from Ball State.
Very difficult dismount, round off double tuck. It's great to see gymnasts take risks like that.
And that's going to wrap it up as Central Michigan with a 196.175. I believe that's their third 196 of the season. And the Chippewas not getting their best score of the year. They got that on the opening night against Illinois State, but still, what a performance tonight all around for the Chippewas.
Yes, the Chippewas were very consistent tonight, staying at about that 49 level for each event, which is exactly where they want to be, 49 or just above on each event. So it's great to see them go out on a high note for the regular season and on senior night.
And there you see it, the outright MAC regular season champions here in 2018, the 8th title in the regular season for Central Michigan under head coach Jerry Reigard. And again, we mentioned it before, they started awarding that in 2003. This is the 16th year. And what does it say about this Chippewa program? They've won half of those with 8 now, as they will be the outright champions in 2018. A 5-1 record in conference. Just continue to be one of the best programs in the MAC.
Absolutely. The Chippewas are a force to be reckoned with in the Mid-American Conference.
Well, just a reminder, we just crowned the regular season champion, but the MAC championships will crown the champions in just about a week. Next Saturday, March 24th, Jordan and I will be here as the Chippewas, realizing they have won, and they have won the regular season championship. They'll try and win the MAC championships next weekend on March 24th at 2 o'clock start, as all the MAC teams will be here. Ball State will be back here as well. But the Chippewas are your MAC regular season champions for the 8th time under head coach Jerry Reigard. That's going to wrap up this broadcast. We'll be back for the MAC championships in just about a week. For our entire crew, Jordan Charette, Adam Jackson saying good night from Mount Pleasant.